My name's Swin and you're watching Pulse. Let's see what's been happening in the Starcraft news. It just so happens to be a special day today in the world of Starcraft. It's patch day. You can read the full patch notes over at the official Starcraft 2 website, or just check the links below. Now these notes contain quite a few interesting changes, and this is no doubt the biggest patch for Zerg since the launch of Starcraft 2. We see the hit points increased on lairs, hatcheries, spawning pools, spires, and ultralisk caverns. Fungal growth will now prevent blink, and roaches now have 4 range instead of 3. So those are some pretty big changes. For the other races, as Terran, you'll now need to get a supply depot before building a barracks, and you also need to get a factory before researching nitro packs for Reapers. Medivacs were slowed down a bit, and Protoss see quite a few balance changes on their Void Rays. Both Thors and Corruptors now no longer have energy bars and sport cooldown based skills. There are a few other changes and bug fixes, and you can find them all below. Let's just hold thumbs and hope nothing goes wrong with this patch. It's pretty impressive that they got this out before the GSL 2 started. I kinda expected it much later in the year. The floor plan for this year's BlizzCon has been released. Now, while that may not mean much to the average person, but to those keen-eyed, on the verge of obsessive fans, this means more than you could ever know. You can now plan your every move and map out your entire adventure for this year's BlizzCon. So if you want to get your stalk on, or just see a nice full-color map, you can head on over to the BlizzCon website or just check the links below. So we have heard that Blizzard's been banning the exploiters, cheaters and hackers in StarCraft 2, but are they going a bit far and banning players using hacks, cheats or exploits in the single player campaign? Blizzard has directly replied to an article uploaded recently over at Kotaku discussing the matter. Now they do inform us that there's been some miscommunication on the matter. So if you're using a third-party program with cheats, hacks or exploits for the single player part of StarCraft 2, and they just so happen to contain cheats or hacks that you can use in the multiplayer, then you're gonna get banned, buddy. I gotta say, that's a really good thing. Is Blizzard just supposed to take your word when you say, no, I didn't use the multiplayer cheats, I only used it for single player? Blizzard also said that they put those cheats in single player for a reason, and you don't need a third-party program to be able to cheat. You can read the full article and Blizzard's reply over at Kotaku.com, or just check the links below. Overcome with joy and inspiration after seeing Fruit Dealer battle his way to the top of the GSL, the Blizzard art team has released something special for all of us Zerg fans out there. Blizzard is pleased to introduce the Grapeling, Apple Lord and Bananalisk, and hopes everyone will join in congratulating Fruit Dealer on his victory. You can see that pretty inspirational piece of work over at Starcraft2.com or in the links below. Okay, so the tournament news is going to be a little different today. I've received a bit of input and been told that it's not really necessary to mention every single weekly cup winner in the show. I'll rather take this time to tell all of you that the links below are a rather important part of the show and quite a useful resource. Should I exclude this from the show, you'll still be able to find those weekly cup and King of the Hill winners below. I will obviously still be mentioning all the big competitions and tournaments here, so if you like this idea, if you don't like this idea, please let me know in the comments below. Good news, everyone! The brackets for the second Global StarCraft 2 League have been released. Will you be rooting for Fruit Dealer, Boxer, TLO, Nada, Idra, or any of those other big names competing? The first playday is set to happen on the 18th of October, so it's just a couple of days till we see the best players on the planet duke it out for our entertainment. Well, and a bit of cash, but I think more importantly, our entertainment. Below you can find the full groups and their brackets, as well as the entire schedule of the event. Enjoy! A jolly good chap over at the Team Liquid forums called Cuppa Tea has set up a nice post detailing all the winners in StarCraft 2 since patch 1.1. He has them all nicely grouped in gold, silver and bronze categories, and he even includes the races of all the players. Something like this post is definitely going to come in handy once a couple of tournaments have been played in StarCraft 2 patch 1.1.2. There's a definite lack of Zerg wins in that post, so it's going to be great to see what happens with this new patch that just hit the servers. Anyway, you can check that out below. So as I mentioned before, there were lots of winners for the weekly cups and events, but sadly you're actually going to have to read to find out who won them. Oh. So let's see what's been happening in the player and clan news. This just in from a GOM TV employee's Twitter feed. Begin quote. Fruit Dealer, Maka, Boxer and Inca are all going to BlizzCon, so we had to move their match to first day. End quote. Oh my goodness, those lucky guys going to BlizzCon this year. They're going to be seeing some of the biggest names in esports in the flesh. Now, it's not really officially confirmed or anything like that, but it's still great to hear. So keep checking back here for more on that. The MLG website has recently hosted an interview with IEM Cologne runner-up and big-name Zerg player Idra. They spoke about his life in Korea, how weak the Zerg race is. I guess he's pretty happy about patch 1.1.2 then, hey. And returning to the US to compete in the MLG event. Apparently Idra is really confident that he'll be taking the event, and this was before the new patch, so you can read that full interview below. In an interview after qualifying for the GSL2, Nada said quite confidently that he should at least make the finals. Now that's something I'd like to see. I hope he's been practicing though, because there are some really big names in the GSL2. You can read the full interview below, where Nada also talks about how Brood War affects his Starcraft 2 and his thoughts on Boxer's return. Sebastian over at Polygon Review has started up a very interesting new project called GG Vision. In this new show, Sebastian will be taking a look back at some of the more glorious moments in Starcraft 2's history, as well as all the way back to Brood Wars, to see where we could and should be going with Starcraft 2. These videos are all about watching epic pieces of Starcraft with some food for thought on the side. Most importantly, he does let us know that these videos are clinically tested and consist of 100% awesome. Starcraft satisfaction guaranteed. Be sure to head on over to the Polygon Review YouTube channel right now to check that out. So let's see what's been happening locally. Saturdays are no longer merely Saturdays. Saturdays are now Grudge Love Saturdays, and that's just the way we like it. This coming Saturday we have a very interesting set of games in store for us. The current title holder, Pantheon player Num, is set to face off against old school Brood War player and longtime friend Avocado. This may well be our very first big Zerg vs Terran matchup in patch 1.1.2 here in South Africa. I really can't wait, and I urge you all to join us here on Saturday for this epic matchup. In other semi-related news, the VODs for all the Polar Fluke games and Grudge Love games from the last week have been uploaded, and you can find them here on the Tales of Lumen YouTube channel or over at miton.co.za. The guys over at the Telkom Do Gaming website have mentioned that they will soon be starting an online league for Starcraft 2. There will be prizes up for grabs, though we are currently unsure of the size of those prizes. Either way, I can't wait to see what they have in store for us, because any leagues or competitions are always welcome here in South Africa. You can read more about that below. That's it for local, let's head on over to Diablo News.